the intestinal fortitude that one has, the faith in God first and foremost, but the ability, to have confidence in yourself. Because we have been taught as black people to deprecate ourselves. We have like a self-contempt. We will fight and extol others, and we will destroy each other. Because that's the wounds and scars of slavery. And when you're the kind of person that says, yes, I can, when everyone says, no, you can't, that's a quality that you want. That's what you want to put in your kids, the confidence. Yes, but don't hide it from them. They are handicapped. When you're black, you are handicapped. You know what I mean? So you must understand it. But you use that to your benefit and your advantage, because don't delude yourself. You know what I mean? You got a long way to go. So what we got to do is to fight for equality for women, and then come back and fight for equality for us.
I would say, though, that also with him, he seems to have an incredible work ethic. Did you know that? Is that one of the reasons
that
why
is one of the work ethic, because we used to hate work because we had to slave. You know what I mean? You didn't have no rights, you didn't have no privilege, wasn't no sisterhood, wasn't no brotherhood, wasn't no marriage, wasn't none of those things. Your baby be snatched away from your soul to somebody else. This baby should be sold to another one. So the one thing that slavery had in common with the white woman is that they both were considered property. And that property auspices is still existed today, even though they all done come together now to the black sisterhood and the white sisterhood. That's womanhood, you know what I mean? But they are considered property.
But Stiverne himself as an individual, what makes him special?
He considers himself a man. That means accountability and responsibility. And accountability and responsibility tells you and teaches you that if I don't work hard to get this, it ain't gonna happen. If I don't dedicate myself and redouble my efforts and rededicate myself, it ain't gonna happen. I know that I got to do, there ain't no such thing as a level playing field. So I got to be able to take that in consideration. I got to be able to deal with that handicap that I have, like running on a treadmill, but I will overcome. You know what I mean? With faith in God, I have the abiding faith and confidence in myself that God gave me. You know what I mean? With those unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Once you accept that, you can do more things, because then you take the responsibility of manhood, you take the accountability of manhood, and then you deal with the best you can to be able to bring that sisterhood into a comfortable position, because in our community, the sisterhood is the strongest.
He and Don House, why do you think they work together so well?
Because they're both men, and they understand the handicaps that they are confronted with. But instead of crying and feeling sorry for themselves and say they're doing this because I'm black, now you all know that automatic. So you don't have to go about that. Don't use that for an excuse. You got to say, I got to redouble myself, redouble my efforts. I got to rededicate myself, work harder, believe in God, and God says if you have the faith of a grain of a mustard seed, you can tell yonder mountain to be removed, and hence in the twinkling of an eye, the mountain will be removed. So you got to fight. You have to fight for yourself.
Now, everybody usually, what keeps us sharp is that we have things we need to work on. What do you think he needs to work on, if anything?
Work on life. Work on belief and faith in God, and just growth, and let it come to him. You know what I mean? You got to always remember that, God gave, how would he say it? The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. He give it to him, take it and accept it. Put God before you. You know what I mean? Since he say he's God, give him his just due. He can fight the battles for you, and you put him out there and let him do it, and then you follow in his footsteps, you know what I mean, to emulate, imitate, and identify and relate to the people, because he created us all.
But in the ring, what do you think?
That's in the ring. That's in the ring, and the fight of life ain't in the ring. The fight of life is just the real thing. You got to fight all the time. The ring is just an equation. Everybody can't be a prize fighter, but everybody got to be a fighter for freedom, justice, and equality. To be able to deal with people on the relationship of people are people. Under the skin, we're all the same. If you took me, the Jew in the Merchant of Venice, he says, if you strip me, I laugh. If you prick me, I bleed. You see, I have eyes, don't I have eyes, don't I have ears, don't I have a tongue? I said, if I get sick, I get healed by the same medicine. You said, if it's hot in the summer, I'm hot. If it's cold in the winter, I'm cold. So you got to be able to deal with that. You can't just deal with it where it's going to be one-sided, selective, and convenient. You got to take the bitter with the sweet, and you got to be able to make it happen.
You clearly quote a lot of Shakespeare. Who do you feel the closest to in Shakespeare's characters?
Well, you know what? You got to say to yourself, John Cassius, he got that lean and hungry look.
Ah, yes, that's a good one. That's a good one.
You got a lean and hungry look, you know what I mean? You got to be able to deal with it, you know what I mean?